Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to All Mic'd Up, our special podcast within a podcast where anything goes. And today we're very excited to be talking about two very recent releases, Avatar, Fire and Ash, and Marty Supreme.
I'm glad that you remembered the name of Avatar because I can't seem to commit it to memory.
No, I mean...
The Way of Fire.
Yeah, The Way of Fire. Do you want to start with Avatar then?
I would love to start with Avatar.
We just got out of the theater. We just returned back to my humble abode. So, Mike, I guess really quick, let me know what's your history with the Avatar franchise. How excited were you going into this film?
It's tough to say. So I like the Avatar franchise. I really, really liked the first one when it first came out, which was that 2008, 2009? 2009, yep. I was in college, and I saw it in theaters, I think, 4 times. That was the first 3D movie, right? The first big 3D theatrical release.
You saw Avatar 4 times in theaters?
I did, yeah. I really enjoyed the experience of seeing Avatar in theaters. It was really nice. It was special.
It was probably the first major one. I don't know if it was the first one.
I mean, I'm sure it wasn't the first. I'm sure you're right. But it was definitely, it's the one that I think of.
That's a bygone era of film. The 3D films, the stupid glasses.
Yep.
Those glasses are so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
I think they really detract from the experience.
They dig into the ridges of my ears in a way that's really unpleasant.
Yep.
And so then I find myself kind of pushing them up so they sit on my temple a little bit, but then that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And there is a slightly detectable aberration to the image when you turn them up that way, like it distorts it just a little bit, which is better than the pain.
Yeah.
This movie is fucking 7.5 hours long. So I held on for a while. I think I made it 2 hours before I was like, this hurts too bad. I need to move these.
During some of the slower scenes, I definitely took the glasses off, and there's almost like a shimmering effect that occurs that's distracting, and the glasses are so uncomfortable, and for what? It's like, I don't really think it meaningfully enhances what you're seeing on screen. I'm glad that era of movies is gone.
I mean, in 2009, I was a rube, I was 21 years old. I had no idea what was going on in the world, and I thought that 3D movies were really cool, which is why I saw Avatar in theaters 4 times. And now I'm older, I'm a little more seasoned. How old am I?
38.
38.
Yeah.
38 now? Yeah, I wanted to say 37. Hey, I've only been 38 for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Right? You've had this experience.
That's true.
It gets harder to remember how old you are as you get older, right? I just kind of got in the habit of saying 37 last year.
No, I still think 35.
Right, yeah, yep. I'm 38 now, and I'm a little more seasoned, and 3D movies are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's really, really
Those
dumb.
glasses, they're designed to accommodate as many head shapes as possible, and people wearing glasses, so they're one size fits none. It's so funny. It's like, why am I paying an upcharge for this inferior experience? But that's what James Cameron wants, so that's what he gets.
And in the era of Avatar 1, they were experimenting with 3D technology in different ways. In that era, they had the 3DS. You remember the 3DS?
I do.
And the 3DS was cool. So those of us who don't recall, the 3DS was Nintendo's follow-up to the Nintendo DS, which is I think the 3DS was their most successful system of all time until the Switch came out. And it had this really neat 3D stereoscopic effect. But the way that it worked was it only worked when you were staring at the screen straight on. So you didn't have to wear any glasses, and it was really cool. It worked really, really well. I do think the effect of watching stuff in 3D is really cool. I just don't think it's worth the cost of entry.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that the glasses experience hasn't gotten any better in 16 years. I don't know, it's not worth it. I would never choose to see a 3D film if a non-3D version were available to me.
Yeah, all of our available IMAX showtimes were in 3D because we definitely would have chosen a 2D showtime if possible. But I guess there's probably not much incentive to improve the technology because there are no 3D movies anymore.
Right.
It's like it's just Avatar.
Anyway, so that's my experience with the first Avatar. And then I missed the second Avatar and I enjoy the first Avatar too, beyond the spectacle of it. As a Fern Gully retread, with fun visuals and interesting characters and kind of anodyne, but a little bit interesting, political commentary. I think it's nice. I think it's a nice story. It's a good movie. And then I saw the second one, but I did not catch it in theaters because that was before you and me started going to the movie theater once a week.
Yeah.
And I watched it, I think probably last year on VOD. and I found it just interminably boring. Just like, oh my gosh, like most boring thing ever. And then this one today, I wasn't looking forward to it, but I think the biggest reason why I wasn't looking forward to it was the length. I think that if I'd gone in knowing it was like between 2 hours and 20 minutes and 2 hours and 50 minutes long, I think I honestly would have been pretty pumped. But just knowing how long it was going to be, knowing how bored I'd been with the shorter second film, wasn't really very excited.
Was it that much shorter though? I feel like they were the same
No,
length.
I think that second one was significantly shorter. 2 hours 30 about, I think, right?
No way, man. That was a 3-hour long movie.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure, but that's what my heart tells me. That's what AWA tells me.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
It was hardly shorter. It was 192 minutes. Jesus. Oh, well, at least at home I could get up and, take a piss and grab a Sprite,
Yeah.
Well, what did you think coming into this?
I feel like the Avatar movies, I feel like they're all just kind of like 3.5-star movies in my mind. I liked the first one. It was a novelty. It was a spectacle in 2009. I watched it the one time in IMAX, and I never thought about it again until The Way of Water was coming out. So in the lead up to that, because it had been so long between movies, I rewatched Avatar on my home theater, and was very bored I wasn't very bored, but I was pretty bored during the experience because it's 3 hours long. There are so many shots, not just in the original Avatar, but all of these, where it just looks like a video game engine tech demo.
Right.
And I'm just like, man, this is not hitting nearly as hard at home on my beautiful 60-inch plasma screen TV.
Why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah, why am I doing this to myself?
This shit was so cool 16 years ago.
Right.
Like the fact that you could make a movie that looked like a video game tech demo, like that was like really, really cool. And now it's like, well, we have video games that look like this. I could play a video game that looked like this, and at least it would be interactive. It's so, there's a sterility, there's a lifelessness to like modern AAA, quadruple A video game storytelling. That is just like so, it's so lifeless and dead and inorganic. And it's like, well, why would I want to transport that aesthetic and that experience to a non-interactive mode of storytelling? Like, it's like fucking fascinating. Like I really don't understand it. It's a very strange series to me.
Yeah, I really feel like the wait between Avatar 1 and Avatar The Way of Water was too long.
Yes.
Like making people wait however long
Like
it was.
13 years?
Oh, yeah.
Like, my
It's
God.
just like, well, let's get into Avatar
talk
Fire
about
and
it,
Ash. Let's talk about it. What did you think during this 3-hour, 20-minute long film? What are your thoughts? How do you feel about this?
I did something during this film. I don't know if you ever looked over and noticed me doing it, but during the first action sequence, I could feel this incredible lack of emotion that I was experiencing. And I was like, this is some high octane filmmaking right here. Like, I can tell James Cameron wants me to feel so excited about what's happening right now. I wonder what my heart rate is.
Oh.
And so I opened up my heart rate monitor at a few points during the film. I made a point to check it during some low intensity scenes, like some more dialogue, like narrative scenes, as kind of a control. And then through some of the action scenes. And I never broke 71 beats a minute for the entire film.
That's crazy.
It's like
that you were doing that.
It's unbelievable to me. So the way that I felt for most of the film was honestly really, really bored. I feel like all of the action is so sterile. There's no emotion to it. It's just this feelingless, sexless experience of like just watching these like video game characters touch each other, and occasionally there's a human on screen, and it's like it's generally really unenjoyable. In this film, I did really enjoy Spider's arc.
Yeah.
So there were a few high points for me. I found the scene where actually really emotionally affecting. That was like the only emotional point of the film for me where I like felt anything for any of these characters. I was like, that's cool. That's kind of a cool character moment for them. Like, so I liked that. And I do like the Na'vi. I think they're fun. They're fun little characters. It's interesting. The final action sequence was okay. It had some moments that I enjoyed, but overall I was mostly just pretty bored and disinterested for most of the film. What about you? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I guess we should say spoilers coming up in this entire discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you want to share your star rating with
Oh,
me?
it's 3.5.
3.5?
Yep. I gave Avatar: Way of the Water 3 stars and said explicitly in the review that I deducted half a star for watching it at home instead of watching it in the theater. And that's the experience. I mean, I think these are all the same. They're all the same movie. I don't know. So yeah, 3.5.
Yeah, I also give this film 3.5 stars. I think every Avatar film is a 3.5 star film. I read before watching this movie that The Way of Water and Fire and Ash were originally one script, and it became so.
The script must have been 300
Yeah,
pages long.
Well, it became so big that they decided to split it into 2 films. So they're really like a part 1 and part 2.
This is like the rare case where I feel like they really needed to do that, and I actually would have really preferred if they'd found a way to split it into 3.
I don't think they should have done that at all. I think that's always a bad impulse when filmmakers feel that way.
You wanted to go watch a 400-minute long movie?
No, I think they should have figured out a way to tell this story.
Oh, sure. Yeah, but he was never going to do that.
I don't care about what he was, or obviously he wasn't going to do that because we got 2 incredibly long movies, the second of which is essentially a retread of the previous one. I think, I understand, Cameron has carte blanche and these movies make money hand over fist. So I understand like the business case for doing it this way. But when I was watching this movie, Fire and Ash, I think I felt kind of similar to you, where I enjoyed myself, and I knew like there's like 20 minutes building up to the big final climax, and I was like, I mean, that's really why you're here. I think is for the James Cameron huge massive action climax. No one else does it like him except for maybe Nolan.
The direction of the scene was very cool.
Yeah, so that's what I was really like, just hoping that the build up was all worth it. But I kept thinking to myself, why did this have to be 2 movies? Like, where do we end up at the end of Fire and Ash that is different than at the end of The Way of Water? Like, I really think that should have been a part 1. I don't know.
What do you mean that should have been a part 1?
Like, story-wise, I think that The Way of Water should have been the first half of a long movie, and then there should have been a 10-minute long intermission.
I understand.
And then we should have had Fire and Ash.
Part 1 of one movie.
Yes, part 1 of one.
It was part 1 of a 2-movie series.
It's like it gives you more character moments, I guess, but I didn't feel like my understanding of most of the characters had deepened. And everyone in this film in particular is so fucking morose all the time.
Oh yeah,
They're all just morose or grieving or like noble or whatever. And man, I was thinking about like the noble savage trope, and obviously, yeah, this is the story of the original Avatar is obviously like a Fern Gully style whatever. And I was thinking, I don't know, this probably hits a lot harder when the tribes people are like actual people and not hot cat aliens.
Yes.
With like incredibly long torsos. Yep. Like it's kind of dreary for a while, but then you spend a lot of time with the kids.
Yep.
But they're also kind of grieving, and I kind of don't like. I don't know.
I like the kids. At least they're grieving a little less. The kids are my favorite characters in the film.
I like
them
the kids
and Miles Porridge. I enjoy.
I like the kids, but I there are just things in this film and the entire trilogy really that keep like taking me out of the experience. And with the kids, one of the kids is 70-year-old Sigourney Weaver voicing like a teenager.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for me at all, as much as I love Sigourney Weaver. And then the other thing that takes me out of it is the character of Spider, who I did grow to like over the course of this film, but he's like a 23-year-old white guy with dreads who walks...
I just kind of forced myself to forget about it, honestly, as I liked his character more throughout the film. Like, I just sort of blocked out the way he looks.
Everyone in these films has like 10% body fat and is wearing as little clothing as possible. And I was just distracted whenever I would see Spider. I'd be like, bro's got dreads. Bro's... He wants to pass the Dutchie on the left-hand side. And... I mean, by far my favorite character in Fire and Ash and The Way of Water is Miles Porridge.
Miles Porridge.
He's the you just came up with
when I said that before. That's funny.
You just came up with that. You just dropped that out of nowhere. Don't disrespect him. He's my favorite character in this franchise.
I was saying that I liked him when I said it.
Why don't you make a joke about Jake Sully?
What's there even to say?
Listen, his character, he's stoic. He's a father.
Yep.
He's grieving in his own way.
Yeah.
Natiri, I like her whole arc is that she's just incredibly racist. This time around.
But then she becomes a little bit less racist at the end, which is nice. Yeah.
But you know what? I kind of feel like her racism is really justified.
I agree.
So
like that's the thing.
Didn't
like
even
at the
hit for
end,
me.
they're like it's supposed to be this thing that we like celebrate. That she's learned to like not see the, you know, what she called them, the pink skins.
Yeah.
The pink skins is all evil or whatever. And it's like, sure, listen, racism is bad.
Yeah.
So like, let me just say that unequivocally before I say what I'm about to say. But like in this universe, I don't know. You know?
Yeah.
We know about the humans, the
Right.
pink skins as it were, and there's 2 good ones in the entire species. Like, it's like we have all that information. It's like, I don't know, like this is obviously a fiction in real life that this could never happen. But in this world, everything we know about the humans, like I think the Na'vi, they should be racist.
Right.
It's the right way to be.
Right, we're alien invaders who destroyed our planet, and now we're like firebombing and just taking resources from them.
Right, they've decided to enlist the aid of these like fucking freak retrograde like fascist terrorist fire people.
Yeah.
So like the only like Na'vi they're friends with are the worst ones.
Right.
Like.
It's like on the one hand, you have this entire species of billions of humans dedicated to strip mining and destroying your planet with which you live in equilibrium. But in the plus column, you get Sam Worthington.
Right.
And
it's like listen, he's nice. Like he seems nice, but like that's what I mean. It's just like from a basic calculus perspective, it's like I think you kill Sam Worthington, man. Like,
oh my God.
It's a bummer, but like he seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah.
I was moved by his arc in the film, but like I think you kill him.
Yeah.
You know?
I just love Miles Quaritch so much. He's the reason that the only reason, honestly, that I'm excited to return to these.
But here's the thing.
What about
What was his arc?
Oh,
He
that's
is
the thing.
also treading water.
That's
like,
why. That's why this film is a retread.
I like him, but like he was the worst thing about this movie, honestly. He and Jake Sully have a couple of conversations where Jake's like, "You have to make a choice. You can see," and it's like at the end, he doesn't. He just jumps and dies. Air
Right.
quotes, like has an ambiguous ending, which is exactly what happened at the ending of the last one.
Right. Yes.
What's the point of this?
That's why this shouldn't have been. That's why they should have found a way to condense this into one, even if it has to be 3.5 hours long. There has to be a way to tell this story more elegantly, more concisely, and get rid of all of the, I like Quaritch a lot, but yeah, he ended up in the exact same place that he did at the end of the previous film.
And it's implied by the discussion that something will happen. That like maybe he's going to like see something that will make him think differently. And then at the end, he's still just a smug asshole, just like he was at the beginning of the movie. It's like, all right, why did we do this? What was the point of this?
I will say I also liked at least the performance of the kid who plays Loak, Sam Worthington's son.
Nice. Yeah.
I thought they were obviously trying to make him the emotional center of the film, and I thought he did pretty well. I think he did better than the character Jake Sully ever did. But I didn't really care about him either, or the whales. I thought it was really funny in the last Avatar film, The Way of Water, how they spent all this time just like, they were like, okay, the humans, people like apparently didn't get that the humans are evil well enough in the first one. So in addition to strip mining their planet for unobtainium, turns out that the whales on this planet also have a very special rare substance. So we need to throw whaling into the second one.
I love the papyrus whales. They're really fun in this film. Also, a couple of big laughs that you and me shared, during the film. One, I really do like how fucking stupid Edie Falco looks in the armor.
In the mech,
I definitely laughed when she first came on screen. And then I had honestly memory holed it, but you reminded me of it when we were driving to the theater when Jermaine Clement first said his American accent.
Oh my God.
It got a laugh out of me.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
They let a guy use a non-American accent, the main whaler guy.
You're right.
So why can't we?
Not
Right. Because at first I thought it was like, oh, it's Americans, where we're doing an allegory kind of thing here. But all humans in this universe appear to be shitty. So why not have people of all different accents, killing the Na'vi and the whales and the shark squid fucking things?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'd have to ask Jim Cameron.
Yeah, I was just about to say, James Cameron, if you're listening, why don't you write in ourherodinero@gmail.com and explain the allegory to us. Or if you've done an interview about it that we could watch or read, just send us a link. I'd love to engage with your thinking.
I've read some buzz online. I don't know if this is accurate. I think it is that there's a lot of discourse, like people saying that, like, oh, apparently the script for Avatar 4, that's when it really gets like crazy. Because in Avatars 4 and 5, I don't know which one, but supposedly at some later point, there's a time jump at the beginning of the 4th film, and at some point they go to Earth. And I'm like, great.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Why wasn't that the 3rd film? Why wasn't that this film? I mean, I like Varang. I like that Quaritch went totally native because he met one bad bitch.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Do you think that's what it was? Do you think that's what we're supposed to understand as his character's motivation? And that it wasn't Machiavellian in nature?
I think he's in love with her, man.
You think so?
I think
Really?
that's his
For
ride
real?
or die.
Yeah, I think that's nice.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I think it is nice. I think making him an inversion of Jake Sully in the second film was a really smart idea. Like, I'm glad. I'm glad that James Cameron thought to bring the military guys back as avatars. I think that's pretty fun stuff because he has the only interesting character arc in the whole fucking series. Yeah. But to your point earlier, it's the same arc this time around that it was last time. So what are we doing
this time we got a little bit more explicit, like Sully and Porridge are spiders, like two dads stuff, but nothing was done with that either.
Right.
At the end, they just punt like Spider or like the characters having to make any decisions about their loyalty in a way that is like completely narratively toothless.
I agree. I mean, I think the film was at its most intense when it was just Jake and Quaritch fighting each other hand to hand.
Yes.
You know, over Spider. There were a lot of shots. I mean, my attention wandered so much that there were a lot of shots where I was like, well, I wonder what's real in here and what's fake, because some of this stuff looks photorealistic, but other shots look like a Linkin Park music video. like I swear to God, when Quaritch goes on a little drug trip, that was literally a fucking cutscene from Far Cry 3.
Hey, listen, I think that it was a little advanced, okay? We're talking more like Far Cry 4, Far Cry 5,
but the vibe, it had the same tropical vibe.
Yep.
I literally thought to myself when I was watching this film, never has a film better captured the feeling of playing Far Cry 3, a Ubisoft game.
But that's interesting because Ubisoft made that Avatar game.
The Avatar game.
You know, they made Avatar Far Cry a few years ago, and that game is supposed to be quite good, honestly.
I bet it sucks ass in the way that every Ubisoft game does.
I wish I walked out of this film feeling like I wanted to play that game. I thought about that like a third of the way through. I was like, wouldn't it be amazing if this film gets me excited for the Avatar universe in a way that makes me want to play that game for a few hours? But like, it certainly didn't. So
I agree. I think my closing thought here is it's fascinating that this is becoming, you know, it's going to be a 5-film series, because you think about the first Avatar, I think it's nice and clean because it is essentially a modern reimagining of Fern Gully or whatever. So you have the clear arc, you know, Jake goes native and he joins the Na'vi and they push back the oppressors in a smaller scale kind of conflict, and okay, like, movie's done. But when you expand that into a longer series, I would think that you would probably, you know, if you weren't James Cameron with this budget, you would make it a trilogy like Star Wars, and you would go, okay, then the second film, you have your Empire Strikes Back ending, and then the third film, you rally all the different Na'vi tribes and whatever. Then you have the final, whatever, conflict for Pandora, and maybe that's when you go to Earth or whatever. But it all culminates after 3. But now I feel like installments 2 and 3 of this 5-film franchise just feel like they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Over the course of 7 hours.
The second film kind of is a little bit like Empire Strikes Back in that way. Like, it's like you end with this sort of like moral, like narrative, motivational ambiguity about Quaritch as a character, because now we know that, you know, Spider is his son and like all this other stuff. And you're like, oh, like maybe something could happen with this character in the next film. And, you know, Jake Sully's other kid dies. So it's got kind of the darkness of Empire Strikes Back. And then, yeah, they just do Empire Strikes Back again in this movie. It's like, okay, like, listen, Empire Strikes Back is an incredible film. Like, we could do it twice, but like, you know, I don't think James Cameron is really operating at the same level as like late 80s or late 70s, early 80s, George Lucas, Peter Kasdan, like those creative people, I think they were telling a little tighter stories than this.
So it's 3.5 stars all around for Avatar 3, The Empire Strikes Back Again.
There you go.
Well, tell me, what did you think of Marty Supreme?
I want you to start with Marty.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
You always make me start when we do these.
Yeah,
think
because I
it'll be next year
usually lead.
I know. That's what I'm flipping the script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're ready, man. You ready to wear your big boy podcasting pants in 2026?
Yeah, man. Sure.
Okay, if you say so.
In this extremely casual conversation that you and me are having in your living room, like, yeah, I think I'm going to be okay.
Listen, I loved Marty Supreme. I think that will be no surprise to anyone who knows me or my taste in films, anyone who's paid attention to the things that I've said on this podcast. I think the interesting conversation for us is going to be where does it
It's
rank?
tough, isn't it?
Yeah, between So the Safdie brothers, Josh and Benny, they directed Good Time together. They directed Uncut Gems together. Uncut Gems is one of, I think, both of our top 10 favorite films of all time.
Incredible masterpiece.
Love Uncut
Modern
Gems.
masterpiece.
I do need to revisit Good Time, but they split up and they're not directing together anymore. So in 2025, earlier in the year, Benny released The Smashing Machine, which we discussed on an earlier episode of All Mic'd Up, which Mike liked a lot more than I did.
Smashing Machine.
I was very lukewarm on it. I think I gave that a 3 out of 5.
I think I gave it a 4, right?
Yeah. I was pretty bored during that movie. And Josh directed Marty Supreme, which it's interesting. He has like all of their usual collaborators with him. So he had One O Tricks Point Never doing the score, the same cinematographer from Uncut Gems, and I think really importantly, their co-writer, I think Ronald Bronstein, yes. Yeah, and I think all of that goes a long way to making the film much more successful in my eyes, at least, or at least for what I'm looking for from a Safdie film. Listen, I'm just gonna say it. I'm giving it 5 stars. I fucking loved it.
I was on even talk about. Of course, I'm giving it 5 stars too. It's a masterpiece.
I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, but it's
a beautiful film.
But I don't think it reached the same heights that Uncut Gems did for me.
Yeah.
And I was thinking a lot about it during and afterwards. I think it has to do with a few things. One, the protagonists. I mean, I loved Marty as a protagonist. Really tremendously compelling.
He was. I agree. Tremendously compelling protagonist.
Huge asshole who can't get out of his own way. Like everything he touches turns to shit.
And a very Gil Renard style, like arrogant douchebag who doesn't have the goods to back it up. He has a very delusional self-image.
Right, ranting about his sense of purpose and trying to build his own myth. Is very interesting, but it didn't land for me quite as much as the character Howard in Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
I think part of that has to do with Adam Sandler. You know, I think it's probably his best role. And
it's not probably.
Right. Well, I haven't seen every Adam Sandler film. Maybe he's really good in Grown Ups too.
Yeah. Sure.
But there's a natural warmth and vulnerability to Adam Sandler, and I really like that Howard he's like a lovable loser.
Yep.
You really want to root for him despite seeing him make, poor choice after poor choice.
Yep.
And I think that's a really incredible thing that the Safdies were able to do with that film is you see Howard sabotaging his entire life, but you still can't help but root for him.
Yep.
All the way until the very end of that film. It was a little different in Marty Supreme. I saw a little bit more of myself in Marty, which is pretty funny.
It's because you've lived that part of your life already.
Yeah.
You'll see yourself in Howard when you're 50
my
years
ping pong
old.
phase.
Right? No, well, whatever. You finish your point then. I have a whole, I think, I didn't write anything down. Hopefully I can articulate it well, but I'm very aligned with you on everything you're saying, and I've thought about it a lot, and I have kind of a theory of the case of, why you feel this way.
I couldn't immerse myself as fully in this film as I could in Uncut Gems. I think part of that has to do with the period setting.
Yep.
I think Marty Supreme, if you didn't like Uncut Gems, Marty Supreme is just as tense, but I think it is more of a crowd pleaser kind of film.
It's more fun.
Yes, it's more fun. It has the trappings of a larger kind of studio film. The period setting is really well done. Josh Safdie uses a lot of needle drops.
Yep.
So it's a period, it's a film that came out at the end of 2025 that's set in the 50s. It's directed with a very 70s kind of style, and there are a lot of 80s needle drops.
Yep.
So it's this amalgamation of styles and settings that I think is going to be more pleasing to the crowd, to mainstream viewers who watch it, but kind of took me out of the movie a little. I mean, I enjoyed it immensely. Yep. This is a 5-star film, remember, but I really liked how Uncut Gems felt more focused. It really just relied on its One O Tricks Point Never score.
Yep.
And
you should call him by his name. It's Daniel Lopatin.
Yeah, I mean,
he
listen.
records music for these films under
he's
a
One O
different
Tricks
name.
Point Never.
Yeah.
Did you listen to that score?
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to it, I think, 8 times since we watched the movie. It's the only thing I've listened to.
Damn.
Yeah.
I listened to a few tracks. It's really good.
You haven't even sat and listened to the whole thing? I blasted the whole thing on my stereo system when I got home after the movie. It's an incredible score. I think the score is significantly better than the score in Uncut Gems.
Yeah, the score is really phenomenal.
I think it's the best music he has ever made. I've listened to everything he's produced, and I think that is the best music he's made.
I don't think there's a big gulf between what he puts out under his government name versus what
I think there is a
out
big
as.
gulf.
You think so?
Yeah, we listened to one of Trix Point Never's new record that came out, a month and a half ago or 2 months ago.
Tranquilizer.
And it was, I don't know, whatever. But I mean, really, like it is. Like, I don't know if it's his collaboration with the Safdie brothers or what it is that like brings that out in him. If it's having the inspiration of the scripts he reads or the scenes he gets to see or whatever it is. I know that Josh was a big collaborator with him in the studio for this score, that he was really involved in its production. But he makes better music for these movies than he does in his solo project.
It's interesting.
But that's what I think. I don't know if you agree.
I'm not familiar enough with his library to make that call. I think they sit similarly to me in my mind. But regardless, I think that kind of pulled me out. And I also, I don't know, just seeing people on screen, I kept thinking like, oh yeah, that's Tyler, the Creator. Oh yeah, it's Mr. Wonderful. Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow, I haven't seen her in a while. Oh, she's looking pretty facelifty.
Too many famous people, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I like that both of the Safdies recognize the importance of having weird-looking character actors in their films, which is like a very 70s style thing. Like movies nowadays, everyone is so beautiful, it's very distracting. It's honestly kind of distracting in Avatar. They're not even real people, but like
they're
James
all
Cameron.
just so perfect.
Yeah, he's like, they all have to be super hot. There's a hint of there are hints of romance developing between a human and an avatar, Na'vi, in that film, and I just thought to myself, do you think that like any human male could satisfy a Na'vi woman?
I think if she loved him.
Yeah, but like sexually.
Oh, but I mean, like, it has an emotional component.
But do you think the Na'vi males have long dicks?
Oh, I understand what you mean. It's a good question. I mean, probably, right?
Like proportionally, they're like 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall.
It would be pretty weird if one of the 9 foot tall Na'vi men had like a 5-inch penis. Like, I think that would look very strange. Like,
the one thing you could do would be to just like lie to your Na'vi lover and be like, oh yeah, like 4.5 inches is actually like the biggest human penis.
So like, you're gonna have to enjoy this. Like, and that's the thing is, Spider as a character is kind of a short guy.
Yeah.
So he's probably got a pretty small penis, I would think.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't want to speculate on a real human's
I don't know.
penis.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, like, he's short, isn't he, that guy? He looks like he's maybe 5'5" or 5'6". So, like, he probably, like, I mean, I'm not hating on him. Like, it's like he was born that way. But, like, I mean, as far as human men go, it's probably an unusually small penis relative to the human men they could sleep with.
I don't think penis size is directly proportional to a person's body
Across
size.
the population, it's got to be.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, it's just your body, right? Like, it's like if you're smaller, your hands are smaller, your feet are smaller. Like, the parts of your body are just smaller. I'm sure there are outliers.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't think that on average, you don't think the average 6'4" man has a bigger penis than the average 5'7" man? That would be really odd.
I don't think it works that way, man.
I don't know. We're gonna have to do some research.
You're falling into the trap of like tweens who say that, if you have small feet, you have a small dong. That's not necessarily the case.
I'm not saying it's necessarily the case.
Any human compared to any Na'vi.
Across the population. You really? I don't know. I mean, why don't you guys write into ourherodeniro@gmail.com if you know anything about, anatomy across populations, and tell us, which one of us is right about this.
Yeah, sure.
I think it would be really surprising if that weren't the case.
Write in and tell us how long your penis is.
Yeah. What did you think of the ending?
Yeah, we're really getting to spoiler territory.
Oh, yeah, we should spoil the whole movie. I mean, I want to talk about it.
Sure.
We spoiled fucking Avatar.
Yeah, you were really quick to do that. I forgot to propose that we do this in a spoiler-free manner, but that's,
I'm sorry. I would have said no if you proposed it. So
you really just love spoiling films for some reason.
You should not be listening to this if you haven't seen the films, and you want to.
Why don't you go ahead and just spoil all the fucking streaming TV show bullshit that you try to get me to watch that I'll never watch?
Sure, I can spoil something.
Spoil all of those in rapid fire. Yeah. I'll never watch that shit. Oh my God.
Every single show that I have recommended that you watch is better than the Avatar movie. I've never made a recommendation to you that wasn't better than Avatar. So you're really kind of neutering your
I really don't know if I believe that. Maybe I would watch those shows if they were available in IMAX 3D.
Yeah, that would be amazing, honestly.
Here's the thing
Yeah.
about Avatar Fire and Ash. I'm not going to rewatch it. I learned my lesson after rewatching the first Avatar before watching The Way of Water.
You
in
can just read
theaters.
the Wikipedia summary.
Yeah. I like the ending of Marty Supreme. I like the whole journey, but I think the other thing, now that I'm thinking about this more, is I think the other thing that kind of took me out of it compared to Uncut Gems is it felt like, one, there was the artificiality of the period setting and the anachronistic needle drops, but also it felt a little cartoonish at points. So I don't know. It was a little cartoonish, a little too outlandish for me. I liked the ending a lot. Actually, it hit me off guard. I was surprised by
too.
it. I think
Really
it worked.
surprised by it.
I think it was it resonated with me emotionally. Still don't think it was as good as Uncut Gems' ending. So,
Did it make you cry?
no.
I teared up a little bit. I thought it was really powerful.
It was powerful.
It's a very optimistic ending.
Yes.
Which I think might also be why it doesn't land for you in the same way that Uncut Gems does. I think pessimistic storytelling is more aligned with your
My sensibilities.
sensibilities.
I
and
think
your
that's
disposition.
true.
Yeah.
But,
Yep.
but
Like I said, I already thought about all this.
right. Uncut Gems is just so tight.
It's a perfect film.
Everything about it, it truly is. I don't know. What about you? What did you think? Tell me about your thoughts on Marty Supreme.
So I see Marty Supreme as almost like a spiritual sequel or companion to Uncut Gems. And I think it actually kind of leaves Good Time out in the cold a little bit because we used to see, I think when you watched Uncut Gems and Good Time together or close to each other, you saw a lot of aesthetic overlap and you kind of have Benny's influence there in a way. So you feel more of a connection between those films. But I think that Marty Supreme is so connected to Uncut Gems. It's so the other side of the same coin from a storytelling perspective that Uncut Gems is, that it almost kind of leaves Good Time out of the equation, which is sad for Good Time, but I think that Marty Supreme elevates Uncut Gems to me, honestly, as kind of a companion story about a different character, maybe a similar kind of character at a different, sadder point in his life. So let me say right here, right, what I think Uncut Gems is about. What is the uncut gem, right? I mean, Uncut Gems is a story about how every sad, fat, loser old man wants to be an uncut gem. That's why Howard covets the gem. It's not just for the money. It's because the gem can be anything. And once you cut a stone, it can't be those other things that it could have been anymore. And when he was in his 20s, Howard was probably somebody like Marty Supreme, who thought that there were all of these things that he was going to be able to do in his life. And we meet him, he's 50 years old, he's having a cancer scare, and he's a fucking loser. He has nothing in his life, you know? And I think it's a really dark, sad story. I find it, I love Uncut Gems so much. I love everything about it. But I find the story and the character of Howard so intensely emotionally affecting because we could all be Howard someday, you know? Like, it's like you really stay humble, you know? Like, we are all 5 or 10 missteps away from being that kind of fucking loser when we're 50 years old. Like, you know, like somebody who everybody hates, who nobody has any respect for, who's a pathologically bad decision maker, whose kids don't love and understand him, who has a bad relationship with his wife. Like, that could happen to anybody. You're not too good to become Howie from Uncut Gems. And so I find the film, for me, as a story, it's like almost on a whole other level from almost like any other story in any medium that I can think of. I love Uncut Gems so much. And so I see Marty Supreme as a kind of more optimistic version of that story. And I wonder if the ending really is happy, I guess. I think the ending is optimistic in its way, but you wonder, like, is he going to make it? You know, like he feels now like maybe he's found a more durable, humbling purpose for himself.
Yeah.
But will he actually manage to stick with that, or is he an addict like Howard is? You know, like, because we see Howard at the end of his life in Uncut Gems, right? He is hopelessly addicted to the next scheme, to gambling, to all of these things. And you can tell part of what makes Howard such a compelling character is he's a good guy. He's not a bad person. You know, he's just fucking stupid. He has poor impulse control. He's addicted to this next quick hit of whatever, but like he's not a mean person. He's not a violent person. It seems like in his way, he cares about the people around him and wants to do good. He's weak and stupid, you know, and Marty might be weak and stupid too, you know, like, I don't know. It's tough to know, you know, where we'll see him in 25 years when he's kind of at that middle stage of his life. I love Marty Supreme. I think it's incredible.
Marty Supreme 2, The Way of Water.
Marty Supreme 2, Uncut Gems. I love Marty Supreme. It's definitely a 5-star. I'm not really sure, honestly, yet. I think I probably need to watch it another time or two before I can really know how I feel about it relative to Uncut Gems in terms of how much I love it. But it made me feel the exact same way that Uncut Gems made me feel the first time I saw it. And I really enjoyed its more fun, more optimistic kind of experience overall. There isn't the darkness to Marty Supreme that there really is to Uncut Gems, you know? Like, you're never... I think that what Uncut Gems does so well is it does a really good job of conveying, I would imagine, what it feels like to be a middle-aged man who's addicted to gambling. Like, a lot of lows, the kind of modal, like, experience of your life is low, like, kind of below, like, where you'd want it to be. And then every once in a while, there are these, like, exciting highs, but they feel kind of dirty. You know, like, it's like, even when you're winning, like, you're like, it's like, you know, shooting up drugs if you're addicted to drugs. So, like, it feels good, but, like, I would assume people who are addicted to drugs when they're shooting up, there's a little lingering feeling of guilt. Like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I know this isn't good. You know, I've never been addicted to drugs, so I don't know what it feels like. But I assume that's
you're really
what it
talking
feels
out
like.
of your ass right now.
But in Marty Supreme, it's pretty happy the whole way through, really, if you think about it. And, like, if you are a stupid person, as I expect a lot of people who watch this film are, because it's getting a lot of mainstream play relative to something like Uncut Gems, I think you could experience the film and think it's like kind of a happy story about a guy kind of coming out on top, you know, and it's really fun and happy the whole time that it's happening. And if you don't really engage with, like, oh, this guy is a user, like, he's a terrible person who just takes advantage of everyone around him and doesn't care about anyone or anything except for this, like, self-myth that he's created about how perfect he is, and you could maybe be ignorant to the fact that actually everything bad that ever happens to him in the movie is his own fault. Like, it's like he constantly talks about how, like, what a good table tennis player he is, and, like, how he's so, like, he gives that speech to Rachel Odessa Zion toward the end of the film about how she doesn't have a purpose, but he has a purpose. And he has to be laser focused on it. And it's like, this is what laser focus is for you? You've made, like, 4 critical missteps already, and we're only 2/3 of the way through the movie.
During that monologue, I was trying so hard not to lose it. Like, his manic ranting at his baby mama. It was so fucking good.
Ooh, it's really good.
Oh, it was really good stuff. Yeah, kind of, you're right. It lacks the same dark undercurrent that Uncut Gems has, which I think is probably a big reason why I like it less.
Yeah,
but
it kind of makes me like it more. I think it's nice.
It felt like more of, I'm telling you, like that, the needle drops, it felt like more of a thrill ride kind of film.
It's because it's a movie about being a man in your 20s.
Yeah.
You know, you and me already lived that. Like, I think that they're stories about the male experience from kind of 2 different life points, right? And so, you know, I really hope that we're not like Howard when we're 50 years old. But when you're 50 years old, like, I think you'll watch Uncut Gems and you'll feel a little differently about it than you do now, because I think you'll look at, like, things in your life that you maybe haven't done as well as you thought that you might when you were younger, like mistakes that you've made, relationships that aren't the way that you'd like them to be, and you'll see a little bit more of yourself in Howard. And I think that I feel the same way about Marty and Marty Supreme. Like, I remember feeling like that when I was in my 20s. You know, like, that's what all young men feel like, isn't it? Like, you're like the hottest shit in the world and you can do anything. And, like, there's this, like, main character energy that, like, all young men have. Like, I have this thing that I'm going to do and it's really important, and, like, fuck everybody else, you know? Like, I think that it's a really relatable character. You feel kind of nostalgic for that period of my life.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I was just laughing about how you were saying that I have a small dick earlier because I have small hands and small feet. That's crazy. When I was in my 20s, man, you know what I was doing?
You might have an unusually large penis for somebody your size.
I was slinging my disproportionately big dong all around town.
What I'm saying is that if we took 100 people who have the body that you have,
pull down your pants,
and 100 people who have the body that fucking, like, I don't know, like John Cena or like LeBron James has, I think the 100 people on average who are like 6'4" or 6'5" and built are probably going to have a bigger penis than the smaller guys. I'm not saying maybe you have an unusually large penis for somebody your size.
Guys, let me just tell the citizens of De Niro Nation. It's all right, okay? It's not bad. I'm just going to say it's not bad.
Yeah, so I don't know. I really loved Marty Supreme. I think it's incredible. I'm really sorry if you listen to this and you haven't seen it, because we did Although actually, I really don't think we did spoil anything about the film, did we?
It's nice.
It's all subtext that we spoiled. We didn't say what the optimistic ending is, but you saw the ending as happy. That's the way you saw it.
Well,
was as a happy
optimistic
ending.
is a better way of putting it. Certainly relatively happy compared to...
Right, like the ending.
Well, even Uncut Gems, it was kind of a happy ending in its own way without getting too much into it.
Yeah.
I will say I also really like the cinematography in Marty Supreme.
Yep. The other thing was, now I think that it didn't matter so much when there wasn't a second one of these, but that DP didn't do the cinematography in Good Time.
Oh,
and you can feel the difference. Like Marty Supreme really does feel like an extension of Uncut Gems. And what's cool is Uncut Gems has a cooler color palette in a way that I think makes it feel more modern because it is a more modern story. There's a lot of blues, a lot of harsh whites, like blue tinted whites, a lot of fluorescent lighting in Uncut Gems. Whereas Marty Supreme has a much warmer color palette, a lot of incandescent lighting, a lot of like browns and tans.
Yep. Very beige movie.
That I think is really nice. But they have a kind of visual and aesthetic cohesion to them that neither of them has with Good Time.
Yes.
Good Time has a more, I mean, it's a beautiful film. I'm not trying to trying to cast aspersions on it or anything, but it has a little bit more of an inorganic feel, I think, than either Uncut Gems or Marty Supreme.
I need to rewatch it. It's been too long. Yeah, the other thing I noted with Marty Supreme cinematography was they used a lot of long lenses, which is really interesting. Yep. So they were shooting telephoto even in close-ups, and it's really noticeable during like the ping pong exhibition or like the ping pong matches. It really compresses the image visually, and it has the effect of making the environment feel more claustrophobic on screen, which I thought was a really interesting idea.
Yeah, it is interesting.
It all worked really well. So yeah, big fan of the film. You have anything else to say about it?
Yeah, just I read that they had to rebuild that table tennis club. Did you read this?
Oh, because
so it doesn't exist anymore.
Now like
it was knocked down.
Else. Yeah.
Yep. And so they did the recreation of it based on I think like a couple of old photographs they had and an 8mm film reel, which I thought was really cool. They did an amazing job. Like that place feels very authentic. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much to say. I love it. I think it's an incredible film. I think that it is an easy 5. I love it. It's one of my favorites this year.
Yeah, better than Avatar, Fire and Ash. Well, I guess it's time to wrap this episode of All Mic'd Up.
It is. I recommend you watch Uncut Gems, as I did a few weeks ago on the podcast.
That's the big takeaway from this episode. About 2 current releases is watch 2019's Uncut Gems.
Modern masterpiece.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll be back at you next Tuesday with a regular episode of Our Hero De Niro. Thanks for listening to this spoiler-full review and discussion of Avatar and Marty Supreme.
Bye, everyone.